already we're seeing in the pilot that the transportation elements like the Water Avenue shuttle are helping with relieving congestion and parking conflicts, not only at OMSI, but throughout the district. And the transportation funds are bringing a very badly needed flashing crosswalk beacon to the crosswalk just outside of OMSI that sees 50,000 children crossing it every summer. So I urge you to support the ESD and use it as a tool so that we can work together to create this ecosystem of support for the Central East Side.
Thank you. Appreciate your being
Good morning, Mayor, Wheeler, and Commissioners. My name is Randy Bauer. I'm the Regional Director for American Medical Response, AMR, and I lead our operations, 911 operations in Multnomah, Clackamas, and Josephine counties. I started as a paramedic in 1981 with Buck Ambulance, which became part of AMR in 93. Buck Ambulance started in Portland 106 years ago in 1913, but I wasn't here then. Our office is located at 1 Southeast 2nd Avenue in the Central East Side. And before that, we were just outside of the district in Southeast 12th and Main. So we've been in the district since 95. We have 300 employees working out of our main office on Southeast 2nd, another 150 in Clackamas County, and 170 in Southwest Washington. Nationally, AMR has 28,000 employees. I've served on the CIC board for 15 years and chaired the former Community Policing Committee for 10 of those years. The CPAC, the Community Policing Committee, was one of 3 Portland police demonstration projects started by Tom Potter, the police chief. It was the last of the 3 to disband a few years ago after police priority issue. I currently co-chair the new Safety for All Island Oversight Committee, which has a much broader and collaborative participation. One of my roles with AMR is a disaster response, and I responded to 13 hurricanes and a California wildfire, beginning with Hurricane Katrina in 2005. I had the privilege to lead working the DHS called the largest EMS deployment in history in 2008, with over 700 ground and air resources and 1,800 responders. So a natural disaster displaces thousands of people in a matter of hours. It strikes me that Portland had this own disaster. And the city is one that has all over a long time, but the result is the same. We have thousands of displaced houseless people who we treat differently than we do victims of natural disasters. In a natural disaster, all levels of government, like first responders, businesses, relief organizations, and others mobilize to solve the problem. Taking care of the basic human needs, food, water, shelter, happens in the first day. That's followed shortly with restrooms, showers, laundry, clothing, waste removal, and sanitation. When large groups of people are brought together in austere living conditions, one thing that happens is that it attracts the criminal element that preys on the unsuspecting and the vulnerable. That dynamic exists in Portland also. The houseless are disproportionately high crime victims, which is why the safety for all aspect of this ESD is very important. In order for the significant economic growth the Central East Side has been experiencing to continue, we must transform into a safe and attractive place for all to live and work. The CSD provides a pathway for businesses, neighbors, social service and mental health providers, and government to work on solutions together. AMR strongly supports the proposed ESD and we urge you to approve it.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler and council members. My name is Don Miller. I represent City Team Ministry International. We are located in the heart of the Central East Side Industrial District. City Team has been there roughly 61 years. We are a compassionate service provider in the district. City Team, yearly we average about 23,000 shelter beds per year, a little over 90,000 meals per year. In the winter months, we average about 1,500 sleeping bags distributed on top of another 1,000 blankets throughout the year. We have men's clothing room, we have women's services 3 days per week, where we give the women a 4-hour respite from the rigors of the street into our facility where they can unwind, use our shower facilities, our women's clothing room, and things of that nature. When I was approached some 5 to 6 months ago about taking part representing City Team in this endeavor, I was reluctant. It's usually organizations such as City Team that the finger's being pointed at as the purpose and the reason for this houseless community. The Central East Side has done nothing short of coming alongside us and assist us and help us. And I've been communicating with a lot of the people in the community, the houseless community, and everybody is encouraged by this. I have a vision of seeing City Team be a navigation point for certain elements of the ESD, where we could collaborate, come together, move forward, and not moving the houseless out, but coming alongside of them and helping them out of their situation. So I'm just highly encouraged by this whole endeavor. Northwest Enforcement, I did a little data gathering of my own, nothing short of professional. This organization, I've communicated with no fewer than 100 of our houseless clients, and not once have I heard a negative response. It's always been encouraging. They do a tremendous job. They go into the community, they go with blankets, with food, water, dog food, all these things to come alongside that community. So I'm highly encouraged by all this. So not only do I encourage you, but urge you to support this ESD. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the work that you do.
You're quite welcome.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler, Commissioners. My name is Angie Garcia, and I am the owner of Escuela Viva, a bilingual early childhood program. I've been in operation for 15 years, the last 9 in the Central East Side. We are the only preschool in the district. I serve over 70 children and families, and I have 20 staff, all who rely on me to ensure their safety. We have considered ourselves good neighbors. Our school has a long and deep commitment to supporting our most vulnerable neighbors. Every year on their own accord, the older children organize a food and clothing drive for them. But we must also remember that our children, the children I serve, are also vulnerable. When we lost our community policing officer, conditions continued to decline, from troubling to outright dangerous. I do something probably no other preschool in Portland has to do. Several times a day, we scour our grounds. We look for dangerous objects, drug paraphernalia, empty beer cans, broken glass, and human waste. I have felt the danger level and the apparent lawlessness surrounding our school continue to rise. There have been several stabbings, and recently one of my staff was threatened with a machete. I reached out to Mayor Hale's office, sending countless emails, leaving voicemail after voicemail with no response. In March 2016, a man was shot right in front of our building. It was a Monday morning at 5 a.m. It was horrific and terrifying. Grateful only that the children had not arrived for the day. Then the mayor's office returned my calls. Nothing changed. I strongly support the creation of Central East Side's Enhanced Service District. For the last 6 months, I have served on the Safety for All Pilot Oversight Committee and spent time away from my business on creative strategies to create a safer environment for everyone in the Central East Side, including the children in my care. But I am tired. I recently shortened the lease on my building in the event that you, City Council, do not approve our ESD and help us come up with additional strategies to keep my vulnerable students and the small little area around my preschool safe. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate your perspective. Thanks for being here.
Mayor Wheeler, Commissioners Daly, Fish, Fritz, and Harsti. On behalf of the Central East Side, I urge you to approve the Enhanced Service District, and thank you so much for your time.
Excellent, great presentation, we appreciate it, thank you all, thanks for coming in. Next up, we have Thomas Lanham from the Revenue Bureau, and Thomas, I understand you're going to keep it under 2 minutes, is that right? Perfect, even better.
I'm Thomas Lynn with the Revenue Division, also the rare bureaucrat that doesn't have a lot to say. I did have some prepared remarks, but I don't think I need to share them. I think they've been largely covered, and I'm here to answer any questions that you have.
Colleagues, any questions, Commissioner Fritz?
My understanding is that the Revenue Bureau collecting only 2% and that is less than your cost of collection. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's a little bit less than our cost of collection.
So we have a little bit of skin in the game as well.
We do.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hardesty.
Thank you. So the last time we spoke, Director, you said that you were in a rush because you had this short timeline in order to roll this program out. So we're 2 weeks behind that timeline. Are you going to have any problems actually keeping the commitment that we're making today?
No, we're pretty sure we can do it.
And I just want to say for the record, I find it inappropriate when public employees say they just don't have time. I think it's our job to figure out how to make it happen. So I just want to put that on the record.
Oh, I thank you for that, Commissioner. And just to be clear, I wasn't trying to say I personally don't have time. I think the issue was that we have less than one staff person to do all this work, including verifying 1,100 properties.
With all due respect, Director, that's not the public's problem. It's our job to fix those problems. It's not our job to put barriers in the way of the public getting their needs met.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to be clear that I do have a responsibility as a director to point out what limitations are and what consequences might follow if I can't follow through.
And I would hope that we would do that as an employee-employer as compared to putting the public into the middle of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate it, and I know you will also be forthright with us about what resources you will need, given that we have a budget process coming up. I want to make sure you have the personnel and the tools that you need to be successful.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So we have some invited testimony. I don't like to cut people short, but I just want to be mindful of the time because, Carla, how many people have signed up for public testimony?
49.
49. So if people could keep that in mind as they're giving their prepared testimony. First up, we have Greg Fallon from Autodesk. Come on up. And why don't we also invite Susan Lindsay, Buckman Neighborhood Association, and Debbie Kitchen from Interworks up at the same time, since we have 3 fabulous chairs. Good morning.
Good morning, Mayor Wheeler, Commissioners. Thanks so much for having me and hearing me. I'm Greg Fallon. I'm the Vice President of Design and Manufacturing at Autodesk. We recently moved to the Central East Side. We're located at the Southeast Bridgehead, Burnside Bridgehead, in the old town storage building. We make software for people that make things. Our software is used by artists, architects, and engineers around the world who make everything from blockbuster movies to skyscrapers to medical devices that save lives. Autodesk is a relative newcomer to the Central East Side. We recently relocated our Oregon office from suburban Portland to the Central East Side so that we can be in the heart of the burgeoning Portland. We saw an opportunity to be closer to the customers that participate and use our software and participate in the renaissance of the city's industrial core. We were especially drawn to the industrial heritage of the Central East Side because it so closely represents the heritage of our customers. Today we have over 200 employees in our Portland office. We are currently building out space to house more than double this number. In addition to providing space for our employees, we provide space to the Portland Incubator Experiment iShop. It's a residency program for startups making everything from next generation spaceships to medical devices supporting women's health. In addition to the startups, iShop provides space to coaches and mentors for startups. Examples include PDX WIT, a group that supports women in technology, as well as the organizers of Design Week in Portland. While we are excited about the move to the Central East Side, our neighborhood faces challenges. Trash, property crimes, and general security are concerns affecting all the residents in the neighborhood. We support the ESD because it will help address these problems in a manner that is inclusive of all our neighbors, particularly the most vulnerable. Autodesk is committed to being a good steward to the city at large and a good neighbor in the Central East Side. We are happy to pay the ESD because it makes sense for the community and for our employees. It's a compassionate, conscientious, and well-thought-out plan that can make lasting positive change on the Central East Side and on the greater Portland community in general. I strongly urge you to vote in favor of the ESD. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Good morning, Mayor Wheeler and Commissioners. My name is Debbie Kitchen. I own Interworks General Contractors with my husband. We are a small general contractor specializing in residential and commercial remodeling with a particular focus on sustainable building practices. We've been located in the Central East Side since 1998 when we bought and operated a 7,200 square foot building for our office and 2 tenants. We currently have about 15 employees. I'm a huge